Hi friends, welcome to my Floss-tube. It is a little different this week. I had a lot of technical difficulties and tried to edit and export this like 3 or 4 times and having a lot of issues, so I'm really hoping this time works. Because of that, I had to film at night, so the lighting wasn't great, so I have wanted to put in some pictures and I didn't have the tablet, and I wanted to show you some patterns I got. So all that to say, those are missing from the Floss-tube, but what I'm going to do is put those details down in the description box so you can still check everything out. And as always, you can see my Instagram where I share lots of this stuff over there in image format. So sorry they won't be in the video today, friends, but I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Floss-tube. My name is Sarah, and this is my channel, The Rocking Chair Stitcher. I already filmed this entire Floss-tube earlier today. I had really beautiful sunlight, and for some reason cannot get the video to export to where I can then upload it to YouTube. So I'm back. I'm filming. I can already see on the screen as I'm filming that it's grainy, so sorry. Not the best of quality, but that's okay. I'm just gonna go on with it anyway. So I am in my rocking chair. I got asked on a recent little video I uploaded where my rocking chair was, and it's here. It hadn't been moved into the bedroom yet. It was still in the living room, so it's now living in its new home in our bedroom, and I'm really loving it because I come in here in the morning to put stuff away and put laundry away and do my devotions and things like that, and Justin always follows me in here. And I wasn't sitting in it much in the living room for some reason because it was in the corner. But in the bedroom, I sit in it several times a day. And Justin will now come find me and crawl up in my lap. And we just have really good cuddles, which he's not usually a snuggler unless he's sick or just waking up or just going to sleep. So when he just randomly wants to snuggle in the middle of the day, it's like, stop everything and enjoy it. So my chair is back. This is the same one I talked about a little while back. But so you'll see me rocking in my chair. And yeah, this is my, I think, 5th Floss-tube. And I don't have a lot of whips today, but I have several other things I wanted to show you. I have a new pattern that if you've seen any of my other videos, the last couple ones I've been working on and promising would be finished in time for Christmas stitching, and it's ready. So I will just start with my finishes, but before I do that, I'll just give you a warning. Usually I film during nap time like I did earlier, and it didn't work out because of the video thing. But so my little one is up and you will hear him, but he's with my husband, and so you might hear lots of laughter and jingle bells and all kinds of things, but we'll just continue on and hope it's not too loud. So I'll just start right off the bat with my finishes, and this is also my pattern release. In my 1st or 2nd Floss-tube, I said that I am not a pillow person. I don't want to make pillows. I don't want to decorate with pillows. And I have 3 pillows to show you today of varying sizes. So I'm eating my words. I guess I am a pillow person. So this is my pattern, Gingerbread Lodge. And I am sad that it's not showing up as good as I want because the lighting, it all looks so dark. But this is all greenery. Wow, it really does not show the way I want. I will see if the editing will let me. I'll try to add a picture of it in daylight so you can actually see the colors better. But we're just going to go with it. I am tickled with how it came out. Rudolph does in fact have a red nose, and you can see it in daylight, but in here it kind of blends in. So I asked you guys for name ideas last time, and you guys came through, and somebody suggested Gingerbread Lodge. It was Woolly Sheep Stitcher 6222. So thank you for the name suggestion. That's what I went with. And if you want a fun winter stitch, my pattern is live in the Etsy shop, and you are welcome to pick that up and stitch it. And I would love to see your stitching as you go. And if you do decide to stitch it, please tag me on Instagram or send me a picture. My email is therockingchairstitcher@gmail.com. And I would love to see your progress. I had a lot of fun. The snow was not my favorite part to stitch because I don't like to count. I'm like super lazy. But I do think it ended up making a picture. So it kind of reminds me of a little postage stamp, you know, like a scene on a postage stamp. So there is a little bit of back stitching. You can see just very faint lines. It's just on single strand where everything else is two-stranded. And I did test it out with 2 strands in one window, 1 strand in the other, and ended up removing the double strand. I feel like it was too dark. So I will insert some pictures if I can of it in the daylight so you can see the colors better. But I am very excited about it, very proud of seeing my work come from my head and get it onto a design and then actually get it stitched. So I just finished it really simply with this cranberry fabric that I found at the thrift store. I mentioned it in a previous video. And I don't know who designed the fabric or what store it came from, unfortunately, other than it came from the thrift shop for me. So I have loads of this fabric, so I will be using it quite a bit, and you'll see it several times today. And it is not stuffed with toilet paper this time. I stuffed my miniature ghost pillow with toilet paper because it's all I had on hand. I ripped apart an old pillow that was an old guest pillow that was kind of way too, once I washed it, it became too lumpy and it wouldn't resettle. So I was like, oh, I can use the stuffing. Somebody mentioned that idea on a previous video. And so I thought, oh, that'll work. I have one of those. So it's got a new use. I really like to try to reuse other things if I can before just going out and buying it. I was kept it really simple. I didn't use any bells or bows or anything. I think my style is a little bit more just like clean lines, simple. Although I was tempted to add some bells, but I think I'm going to keep it the way it is. So that is Gingerbread Lodge. And I'll stop showing it off now. It lives in that little chair over there. And it's so cute. It sits there in the sunlight. So that's my first finish and my big finish. And then I have a finish that I did not stitch the stitching. And that may sound confusing, but if you saw one of my previous videos, my friend Darlene gave me a cross stitch that she was gifted. She was gifted a bunch of cross stitch stuff from someone whose family member passed away, I think, if I remember right. And so this was already stitched. And it had an American flag on it, which she's Canadian, I'm American living in Canada. So she gave it to me. So I did not do this stitching, but it's really, really nice. And I also finished it. Same fabric, the cranberries. I thought it was very Christmassy. So I have multiple brothers, but 2 of my brothers are veterans. And so one of them loves to decorate for Christmas and is already getting their house decorated for Christmas just like I am. You can see my tree. So I asked him if this would be like, would this fit into his Christmas stuff if I sent it? And he said yes, he would put it up somewhere. So I'm going to send that to him as part of his little Christmas thing for him and his wife. And along those same lines, this is like mostly an FFO, but it's not really. It's finished for now. There's a Floss-tube channel in Florida, but I cannot remember what the name of it is right now. And there's 2 ladies, and sometimes there's a 3rd lady, but there's 2 ladies on it. And they were talking about, is finished for now a thing? Like, and if you haven't actually finished, but you've done more than just like finish the stitching, is it really finished? So I'm gonna say it's finished for now. So I'm just covering the names, but their names are underneath. And this was a free pattern. This was meant to be stitched on like baby slippers. And this was a free pattern, and it looked like this one originally. And so I just add the bow for my sister-in-law. And then these are stitched to two-stranded. And two over two, I think. It's taking more brain power than I have. I think I stitched them 2 over 2. And then the baby for my new nephew that was just born is stitched 1 over 1. And I thought it turned out so cute. So I am going to add a little hanger of some kind so they can hang it on their Christmas tree. And I thought it was super sweet. I chose not to put the year because, if I'm really honest, the reason I was going to do it and stitch the year, and then the reason I ended up not stitching it was because I had set this aside, and then when I was whipping up this pillow and my Gingerbread Lodge, I was like, oh, I can do this one while I'm at it. And then I started sewing the edges and I was like, oh, I didn't put the date. I was like, do I really want to stop at the date? Da, da, da. So I decided not to. Basically because I forgot. But I think they'll love it anyway. So the little reindeer. This was a free pattern in, I think it was just Cross Stitch magazine on the Libby app on my phone. And I just followed the pattern from there. And I did not use called for DMC. I just dug into my stash and found similar colors, and I think it worked out fine. So, and both of these red materials, I don't know what the Santa's stitched on, but this is 25 count Victorian red Lugana that these are stitched on from 123 Stitch. So those are my FFOs, and I have to tell you about my husband. Because the other night I was watching Floss-tube and I'm laying in bed, I'm stitching and watching Floss-tube, and he's laying beside me, and I think he was playing a game on his phone or looking something up on his phone, I don't remember. And so he's half listening and then doing whatever he's doing. And I didn't think he was listening to Floss-tube at all. And so I'm watching it and stitching and stuff, and all of a sudden he said, did she just say everybody's joining in on a salad? And I was like, what? Like, okay, I just had to pause, so hopefully the editor will let me edit the clips together. It's being weird today. What was I talking about? Oh, Josh. Yeah, so he was like, did she just say they're all gonna do a salad together or something like that? And I was like, what? So I pulled the video back, and sure enough, they were talking about a stitch along. And so a Sal, right? And so he's like, so I explained to him what Sal was. So then a few minutes later, apparently he was listening again, and he was like, UFOs? I was like, Josh, what in the world? So it was FFOs. So now he keeps teasing all the time about my salads and UFOs that I'm doing, and how's their salad coming along, those kind of things. So he is so silly. But it's funny when you think he's not listening, he actually really is listening. So it was cute. He's teased a lot about that since then, and it's quite funny. But he enjoys that cross-stitching makes me happy, so it's fun. He's very supportive. So, but it made me giggle, because now I'm like, every time I hear FFO and Sal, that's all I can think about, and it makes me laugh. So what was I doing? Oh, I was showing my finishes. So, I wanted to do a giveaway for my new pattern. So for the Gingerbread Lodge, I wanted to do a giveaway of the PDF. So if you would like to be entered into the giveaway, don't use the word giveaway. All the rules, if you ever watched anybody's Flosstube giveaway, same thing. You have to be over 18 so that I can email you the PDF. And in the comments, just use the word gingerbread. And you can give me a whole novel if you want, or you can just write the word gingerbread. You don't have to use it in a clever sentence if you don't want to. Because when I do a giveaway, sometimes I sit there trying to think of something clever to say with the word. And I get so stressed out. And you wordsmiths come up with some amazing sentences. And that's not how my brain works. So just use the word gingerbread somewhere in the comment section. And I'm going to draw a winner on December 1st so that whoever wins will hopefully see that video really quickly and then can start stitching as soon as they want. And I would like for them to be able to have the whole month of December to be able to stitch. So I'm going to pick a winner on December 1st, which I should have looked, but I don't know what day it actually lands on. But that way they can have lots of time before Christmas to stitch it. So that is all I have for my finishes for cross stitch. I did finish some ornaments that were not cross stitch related, and I will post those on my Instagram. And if you want details of how I made them, then just shoot me a message on there and I'll share. So, because I meant to bring them to the table here and they're not here, and I'm not gonna go get them. So, so I'll show you my whips now. I have a project that I am working on for Josh for Christmas. So I'm gonna limit how much I describe this because he can probably hear me. So this is for him. I showed it last time, and I don't have a ton of progress on it yet. I was on a video call stitch group the other night, which I'll mention more about in a second, but I have realized when I'm talking with other people and listening to other people, but trying to engage when it's live, or like have people over, I don't focus as well for stitching. I think I would be one of those people who go to a stitching retreat and not get one stitch put in. But this is my progress so far. I really like the blues. And I think because he's reading a really big book series that goes a really long time, like it's going to take a long time, it's like almost 30 books. I think he'll get a lot of use out of it. Some of his books are audio and some are physical. So I thought it would be a good fit. So this was a Ukrainian pattern designer who reached out to me. They have a website and an Instagram and stuff, but they also are getting their kits on Amazon. And so they're trying to get some reviews and build that up, I guess. So they reached out and asked if I would stitch one of their patterns and leave a review of what I thought of the kit. So that's how I got this one. And I will put the information, I did not do this last time, but I will put the information down in the description box for whatever I mentioned today. I took good notes this time so I can easily do that. So that is my first whip. Not a ton, but my main whip was my big finish, which was Gingerbread Lodge. I was trying to figure out like where are all my whips, like what did I work on, and realized like I did a ton of stitching, but it was mostly on that one. So I did get some progress on my friend's birth announcement. So I got some more of the mountains done, and I don't think the bear was there at all last time. I'm trying to see it too. So I have done a little bit of changes. I'm gonna fold this here so I can hold it better. I've done a little bit of changes to the pattern. There were little dots all over the head, kind of like the dots on the deer, but on the head of the bear, and I didn't really like that look. So I just nixed that and have just continued to fill in as the rest of the main body color. Unlike the cute fox and the deer, I don't love him so far. Like the other ones, I could tell the shape really quickly, like that what they were working up to be. With the bear, I feel like it's lacking. So I'm like, I think I'm going to fill in the face next, just so it looks more like a bear as I'm stitching him. And then there's some more to go on the mountains over here, and there may be another tree. And then basically there's some big arrows that go around. I think they're in the same orange, but I'm not sure. And then it'll be finished until late February when the baby is born. And then I'll get the birth details and add that to it. Let me check on my son. Okay, I am back. So much for not stopping. So that is her birth announcement. I checked with her and she's due end of February. So hoping I will have it done in plenty of time. My goal for that one, I think, is to be done like by January, just because I'm enjoying it and I like the idea of finishing it and having it ready to go whenever the baby comes. And then my last whip is a freebie. And as I have freebies that I find, I'm going to have a little Floss-tube section of my Floss-tube that I'll mention freebies and where you can find them, and I'll link them below because I love freebies. And I saw, what was her account called? I think it's something Holly. Just looking at my phone here. Yes, Hobbies of Holly, which is adorable, like Holly Hobby. Hobbies of Holly on Instagram was stitching this and posted her finish. And it's called Merry Little Christmas by Sweet Wing Studio. And I still have a fair amount to go, but I think I only stitched for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours on this total. Probably not even that. The other day, I'm not doing the called for. I didn't have them in my stash, and so I just picked out some colors that were the same like colors, like greens and blues, but just in different tones. And I really am liking it. So when I finish it, if you want to know which colors I ended up going with, just let me know and I can share those with you. And I haven't decided, this might be for my brother or my sister, because I'm trying to make an ornament for everyone. Not all cross stitch because I don't have enough time this year, but or it might end up on my tree. I haven't decided yet. So yeah, that has been a fun one to stitch. Very simple. And it's just on a 14 count Aida. I was running low on fabric options, and I thought, you know what, for an ornament, I don't mind if it's more stiff. So yeah, so that one has been fun to stitch. Really simple, but it works up really quick, which is nice. It's satisfying to when you're working on bigger stuff that lasts a long time. I mean, nothing like some people's full coverage pieces just blow my mind. I have goals. I have some full coverage pieces that I am like debating, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh, you can see the Christmas lights shining right through. Twinkle, twinkle. Anyway, so I thought that one was super cute. So I'm hoping to have that finished soon, and because I want to mail out all my ornaments soon. So that is my last whip. So not a ton of whips this time, but it's still fun, the stitching I got to do. We've been another round of sickness, thankfully not more COVID, but Josh's been sick, I've been sick, Justin's been sick. So just muddling through. It is a season for it, and we seem to catch just about everything, but I think we're slowly building our immune systems back up. So yeah, so just looking at my notes that I have here, because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. So haul, I will share haul. So I went to the thrift store on Monday, I think it was, and I found a couple of fun things. There's an artist, a local artist, who draws a seagull, or paints watercolors maybe, a seagull, and does them in funny scenarios and stuff. And I found, this is an ornament. And so if you don't know the artwork of the bird, you may not recognize it, but this little white spot here, the kind of weird shape and the little tufts of hair, is the bird Digby, because the local town near us is Digby. You see Digby on the license plate as well. And this was new in a plastic bag, so I'm pretty sure this was from a craft show where they were selling them, and it was for $1. So I thought that was really cute. So we got that little ornament. Not cross-stitch related, but it was fun. And then I did find another ornament, but I don't have it over here. But then I found this, which says, "Dear Santa, I can explain." And then it has it in French on the back. And it was 50 cents, and it still has a tag on it. I think it's Walmart brand, I think. So this is just not my style. It's not what I'm looking for, but I picked it up because I thought it could be a great board for finishing. So I may paint over this and then attach a cross stitch to the front of it. So I don't have a ton of supplies for finishing stuff. So I thought, as I find little random things like this, I don't have to use them right away, but just having a stash that I can then go to and use for finishing. But my rule is I'm going to make a container, and it has to fit in the container, else I'm not keeping all, because you could keep so many things for finishing. So I'm going to have a container. And also when I buy it, I have to have kind of an idea in my head. So for me, I would love to hang this on a doorknob and put something cute on it that would stay on it. So stay tuned. I'm sure at some point you'll see me use this. So I got that for 50 cents. I love finding thrifted bargains that I'll actually use. At that thrift store, I found a cross-stitch piece that I was so torn about. It was like 2 feet long, I think, and it was like a foot or foot and a half tall. It was big, and it was framed in a vintage or antique frame, I'm not sure. In the back, it was all closed in with like carpentry finishing nails. They looked quite old. The cross stitch itself was the Lord's Supper, which I don't tend to keep that kind of artwork in my house. It's just not my decor style at all. I have nothing against it, just not my decor style. And I did take issue with, it probably was not very historically accurate. The people all looked extremely white, if I'm just being really honest. And that would not be historically accurate for people from Jesus's location over in the Middle East. So for me, that's important, like for people to be represented as they actually would be. So it just wasn't my thing, and I was like, it's a beautiful work. It had a lot of work put into it, but I did not feel like it was something I would ever hang in my house, and I didn't know what to do. And it was $4. It was big. I'll see if I can put a picture in here. I don't know if I can or not, the way my editing's going today. But I was talking with a lady online, and she would absolutely love it. So next time I go back into town, I'm going to peek in there and see if they still have it. And if they do, we're going to try to get it to her. Not in the frame, because the frame is huge. But maybe we can mail her just a cross stitch and she can frame it there. Because that was why I was so torn. I was like, I know I don't want to hang this in my own house. It's not my style. But I would love to see it loved by somebody. because somebody obviously put a lot of work into it. My guess is it was stitched a long time ago for a church and probably hung in a church for many years. So we'll follow up and see. And if it's not there when I go back next, then somebody hopefully found it and enjoyed it, because they don't tend to throw things out very quickly at this thrift store. They leave stuff for quite a long time. So I have a feeling it'll find a good home either way. It'll just be interesting to see whose it is. But so at that thrift store, I also found 2 cross-stitch books that are, I didn't look to see when they were published, but they're a leisure arts publication, Christmas portraits. And then this one is Christmas keepsakes. So they're heavily Santa themed, which I don't tend to decorate much with Santa. Like I have a sleigh in my decorations, but for the most part, I don't decorate with Santa. It's just, I haven't really found many that I like, that are super cute. I tend not to decorate with people, if that makes sense. Like plants and items. Like I have a sleigh, but I don't have a Santa. Like, so I tend to lean away from decorating with images of humans for some reason. But I did find some in here that were really cute. So I thought they're $1 each. I can share them when I'm finished, like pass on the books or whatever. And I think looking through, there was like one pattern that I wanted to do in each of the 2 books. So I was like, well, you know, I would pay more than $1 for a pattern anyway. So even if I only get one pattern out of each book, that's pretty good. So I got these 2. My plan is to go through them and eventually work a stitch or 2, a pattern or 2 from them. And then I'll probably just pass them on. So I think that's everything from that thrift store haul. And then yesterday I was in another town in Nova Scotia here called Yarmouth, and I traveled down there for a couple of different things, and did not realize that there was 2 or 3 fabric stores and a craft store down there. So I went to the one fabric store and the ladies' prices were really reasonable, which is really nice, because I would much rather buy from a local store than online, or from like a big box store. I'd rather support a local store. And so I was really tickled that her prices were like in a good range where I felt like she's probably still making a good profit, but also like in my budget. So I got some fabric and some finishing stuff for a swap. Kitted up is what it's called, but I think it's called a swap. So basically I am a shopper for someone else and I get their wish list of patterns. I pick a pattern or 2 and then I buy the fabric and the floss and fun little doodads to go with it to finish and that kind of thing. And then I'm going to package it all up and send it to her. And then somebody else will have my name and be doing the same thing for me. And they had price brackets that you could say, okay, I'm going to go to the less expensive, medium, or highest expensive. And I picked the most expensive one because we said, why not? Let's just try it and have fun. Somebody will pick one of my patterns off my wish list and I'll receive a package like that sometime in January or February. So I am shopping for that now. So I'm not going to show any of that stuff right now, just in case they somehow see my channel, because I would not want their surprise to be spoiled. So I will share all of that before I ship out the package. I'll film it maybe, and then at some point I'll tuck that into a video once I'm sure that they've gotten their package and nothing will be spoiled. But at that, on my hunt for supplies for that project, I found a new craft store, and in there I found Even Weave, which from what I'm reading, Even Weave and Lugana are the same thing. But if you know differently, please tell me down below. So this is a 28 count Monaco Even Weave, and it's DNC brand, and it's super, super stiff. Not as stiff as Ada, but it's not like, it's soft, but it's not, like, it's very much stiff in that it wants to stay in the roll. And so my experience when buying Lugana, which I'm assuming is the same as Even Weave on 1-2-3 Stitch, has been that it's folded, not rolled, and it's super soft. Like the, to do these, like that Lugana is super soft. So I'm wondering, do they starch it so it fits in the roll or something? And is there a way that I can make this less stiff? just work it in my hands, or does it, you wash it or something? So if you have any tips or tricks to make this softer, or maybe I'm just stuck with it being stiff. Either way, I got this Monaco Even Weave, and I am excited to stitch with it. I think I've got to look at the different patterns that I have and see which one I want to start next and which ones would work on this. But yeah, so for now, it's added to my stash. And then at that same little store, I found a couple of supplies because I wanted to try making scissor fobs. And most of the scissor fobs I keep seeing online just clip on to the scissors and then have either something cross-stitched at the other end, like a little pillow or something that attaches to it, or it has, you know, cute strand of beads with little charms and stuff, but it's just attached to the scissors. And that doesn't solve my problem, because my problem is this. I lay in bed, or I'm sitting on the couch, or I'm in the car, and I get my supplies out, but then I keep my project bag beside me, but then all of my stuff gets lost. So like my scissors disappear constantly, and my pen. And if I wear my hair up in a bun, I can tuck my pen in my bun, and I usually know where my pen is, but I can never find my scissors. And I am not attempting to put scissors in my hair because I would like to keep my hair. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe a scissor fob would work. But I'm like, I think I would lose a scissor fob that's like the traditional scissor fob. And when I was looking online, I didn't see any that attached to anything. And I could totally just be missing a whole genre of scissor fobs. So, but I thought, oh, okay, let's be an inventor. And so I bought lobster clasps. So that way, and then I bought pretty stuff to make them. So that way I could create a scissor fob that clips onto the scissors. And then put a clasp up here so it can clip on to my project bag. And I even brought a project bag and then moved it. Hold on. So this is my beautiful project bag by the Fox Cottage that they sent me. And I have removed the little charm off the zipper just for my illustration, because most of my project bags don't have a little charm on there. So my idea is take my other end of the scissor fob. So don't cut my fingers off here. Take the other end. My coordination skills trying to show this to you. And attach it to my project bag. So that when I'm working, I don't have to go digging in my bag, because that's the reason I get my scissors out of my bag in the first place, is so I don't have to dig for them later when I want them every few minutes. So I usually just put them beside me, but then they get lost, because I'm usually always wrapped up in a blanket, even in the car, if I'm not driving. But I'm not stitching when I'm driving. Well, okay, yeah. So like I lose the scissors constantly. So I was thinking, then it's right here. I can just, I always know where the project bag is because it's big, right? Like, then I can just snip, snip, and leave it there. Well, leave it there, and then I don't lose them. So that's what I'm trying out for now. I think I do want to try some different lobster claws. Lobster claws. You know, when I filmed this earlier, I said the same thing. Lobster claws. You can find lobster claws here a lot when you walk on the beaches. Or no, some lobster claws and lots of crab claws. We used to go down, before we had Justin, we used to go down a lot to the beach with our dog, and she would always find the crab claws, I feel like. It was so gross. I don't know if you can hear my toddler in the background. So anyway, these are my little scissor fobs, and I'm very, very excited about them. These blue beads are like kind of, what did the bag say they are? Sponge quartz is what she called them. And I thought they were so pretty. They're kind of like a mottled blue with a little bit of white flecking in them. And then I thought these little snowmen were so cute. I don't know how well they're showing up in this light. So I got a package of 2 of the little snowmen. They're called resin snowmen. And then I got a package of the quartz beads. And then I ran over to Walmart for my groceries. And I got these just plastic fake pearls. And I thought they just made really, really cute snow-like colors. Because I wanted something not Christmas. Because I wanted something that you could use longer than just Christmas. Because I'm like super seasonal weird, I think. Like when we're done with something, I want to move on. Like, so I want everything to match the theme. So this one is just a traditional scissor fob. So you can clip it right on. But I also made the one for myself that has the clip on both ends. and I am doing a little research into how to make different styles and what they would look like and stuff, because I think I'm going to sell some of these in my Etsy shop. So if you like scissor fobs, or if you like the idea of one that clips onto your project bag, I would love to hear your feedback in the description box. In the comments. Good grief, guys. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to know, would you use a scissor fob? Why or why not? Do you like a certain length? I was reading one tutorial that was saying don't make it too long because then it gets in the way. And anyway, I would love to know your thoughts. I had a lot of fun making these. Super cute. So I have a feeling I'll be making a lot more. So keep your eyes peeled, because I think I'm going to put some of these up in the shop in the coming days, weeks, months, I don't know, sometime soon. So that is all of my, no, it's not all my haul. I bought a new pattern. Somebody on Instagram shared a different one of this designer's patterns, and so I went and then looked at her Etsy shop because I was going to buy that pattern, and then I found this one, and when I saw it, the purples, I was like, oh my goodness, that's my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law really loves purple, and so I was like, oh, I could stitch that for her. So she is a sewer, does like paper piecing and that kind of thing, so I'm not sure whether or not she'll use it like to attach her scissors to, or she'll use it to as a pin cushion, or just as a little pretty ornament or something. She can do whatever she wants with it. But I thought the pattern was so pretty. So I'm going to hopefully not be pointing at an empty screen. I'm going to hopefully be able to pop the picture up in here if my device works tonight to be able to edit. But this is a Biscornu, which I have never stitched one before. I've never assembled one before, so I'm very curious to see how it goes. The pattern is by SunshineXstitch, and it is absolutely adorable. I'm going to try to show it to you on my phone, but we'll see. Me and technology today have been miserable, so we'll see how well this works here. But this pattern is not huge, so it's a reasonable size, but I'm not going to try to get it done for Christmas simply because there's just feels like there's a lot of other stuff on the go. But instead, I think I'm going to try to have it stitched for like middle of February or early March. So it's just a fun little open the mailbox and ooh, surprise, like you didn't know it's coming kind of thing. Okay, so hopefully this is going to be able to show decently well. I don't know if it's going to be too bright or not. This is a pattern, and it's super cutesy. The purples, and it's all different shades of purple. It's showing up kind of pink on the screen here. I'm sorry, it's not a better, my printer's out of ink, or I would print it and show you. But it's these purples right here, and I thought it was so sweet. So I think I can use my 28 count that I just got the Monaco to make it, and I think actually the stiff fabric or stiffer fabric will actually be better for this, just so it holds and it's easier to assemble. But stay tuned, because it's going to be the first that I've assembled anything kind of 3D like that. So I'm doing all the called fors, just 4 really pretty purples, and then except for the yellow is the wrong color because my Walmart did not have the yellow I needed, but I thought it still worked well with it, and the yellow is very minimal, and they have a gold yellow in there, so I thought it will work well. So that is all my physical haul, and then this pattern. I have another pattern that I got, but it is a Christmas gift. So when I send out my Christmas cards I usually try to get them out like the last week of November, first week of December. Once those are given out, I'll give out any ornaments with those as well, because I don't save those for Christmas Day. And so when I do, then I will share with you the pattern, because it's adorable, and I would really like for anybody who wants to stitch it to have a chance to get it stitched before Christmas if they want to. So the last pattern that I purchased because I want a winter kind of stitch to work on, but I was having a hard time finding something that wasn't Christmas. And I'm sure there are lots of winter stitches, but I just was not finding them. And so when I found this one, I was like, ooh, I can make very tiny alterations and it'll be non-Christmas and winter. So I'm going to edit this just slightly, but I will see if it'll show it to you here. So this I saw it and I fell in love with it, and I was like, it's so cute. So this is Winter Village by Ulysses Blue Stitching. And I'm just trying to tilt it here. So there's just a tiny bit of Christmas features, like there's little baubles on this tree. And then over here, this is designed as a Christmas tree. So I'm just gonna not stitch the Christmassy stuff. I'll stitch the snow on it, leave off the star and the baubles. And then over here, I'll leave off the baubles off the tree. And then I think that'll keep it nice and wintry. I wanted something with snowflakes because I'm excited to stitch those snowflakes so much. I also don't love the little puppy. So I'm just going to not do the little puppy and maybe add in a bunny or something if I have that ability to chart that. So we'll see. So that is all of my new haul. That's new patterns. I don't know when I'm going to start any of those, except for I know for sure I'm going to start the one that I can't show you because it's a gift for a friend. So I wanted to talk about some stitching plans that I have. I'm going to sit back now in my rocking chair now that I don't have to pick anything up. So I am participating in a ornament exchange, and I will put the information down below for a different group that will connect you with the ornament group if you want to. The ornament exchange sign up I think closes on the 20th of this month, so you've got a few days left to get in there. So what's today? The 17th, so you got like 3 days. So there's a group that meets over Zoom on the first Saturday, I think, of every month. And I think they let up to 50 people in the Zoom call at once. And I just made it to my first one this past time. So last Saturday, I think it was. And it's really nice because you can leave yourself on mute and leave your camera off and just listen. Or you can turn your camera on and, you know, be visible. Or you can turn your mic on too and engage and interact, and they take turns. If you want, you can share what you're stitching on, or I think this last time it was like what are you stitching on, and like what Christmas smalls are you enjoying, what other Christmas patterns are you doing, whatever. And so they just give everybody who wants to a chance to kind of, you know, raise their hand on the little Zoom hand thing you can do and just share. But for the most part, you can just listen. Like a lot of the time I had myself muted. Part of the time I didn't. And my toddler had like a toy playing music in the background, and I had no idea I wasn't muted. And they were so gracious. Like, but a lot of the time I had myself muted, and Justin was just sitting in my lap, and I was reading him stories while I was listening to the stitchers talking. So it's just a fun time, and everybody's like in totally different time zones, well across the world. So anyway, I will link the Facebook group info down below for that, and then there's info in there if you're interested in doing the ornament exchange. I'll let you find that from the group, because it is a private group that only if you're doing the exchange are you supposed to be in the group, just so that way it's less confusing. So I have a pattern picked from Just Cross Stitch, the Ornaments edition for 2023 that I found, and I'm like, oh, so cute. So I am going to hopefully whip that up really quick, because we're supposed to send it out, I think, like by the 4th or 5th of December. So I gotta get on it. So I'm going to be stitching that. That's like my most immediate plans, other than my friend's ornament that I'm stitching. And then, oh, I wanted to mention 2 patterns that I found that are freebies. There's the Merry Little Christmas one I showed before. This one. Oh, upside down. Merry Little Christmas, super cute, and it is a free pattern, and it is by Sweet Wing Studio, and I'll link that down below, and you can go to their, I think it was a blog that had it, and download that if you want to stitch it. And then the other one I found that I haven't started stitching yet, and I'll try to share a picture if I can tonight. It's called Little Hedgehog, and it's by Mr. Stitch and Mrs. Needle, and it's super cute. And I think if I remember right from looking at the directions that it is quite small, so I think it would make a cute ornament as well. So I'm thinking about stitching that one for my little sister, but we will see how much time I have. So hopefully I can show you a picture of that. If not, I'll link it, and so you can definitely just go look at it. It's super cute, a free download, and I put it into oh, what's it called? Not Pattern Keeper, because I have Apple. So Markup RXP, I think is what it's called. So I'm starting to get familiar with that program and putting patterns in there and checking it out. And I'm finding some patterns are great in there. Other patterns are really wonky. So learning how to use their adjustment thing for the grid. Sometimes it works great and sometimes not. And I don't think it's the design program. I think it's sometimes the pattern. But if the little hedgehog went well in there, so did the Merry Little Christmas. So that's always fun when you get a pattern and put it in there and it works well. So I just had one other thing I wanted to mention, which is a YouTube channel or a Flosstube channel I've been enjoying, is So Me Sarah. She has just been a delight to watch. I've been watching her videos for a couple of months now, and I got to see her briefly on that video call chat. And I was just tickled pink. And then she commented on one of my videos and then a couple of my videos, and we've messaged, or not messaged, but commented once or twice on there. And it's just a delight. She has a daughter who has Down syndrome as well. And I do not have any local friends who have children with Down syndrome. So it's a different world. Like they're, your kids with Down syndrome are very much like every other kid, and they're very much not like every other kid. And that sounds weird to say, but it's just like, they're just like a typical kid and then have very big differences too. So it's just its own world, and like being in the world where you have a kid with Down syndrome, and it's a beautiful world, but it is a very different world. So I am excited to find another mama who has a child with Down syndrome, just so we can understand each other's life a little bit, and excited to chat with her. But her YouTube is a joy to watch, and so I hope you go check it out. It's So Me Sarah on Floss-tube. And that is all I have for my cross-stitch stuff. And that's all I have for my Floss-tube. And today I want to bring to you a new segment that is not official. It will probably never be back again until next Christmas, but I wanted to share it because I was going through our ornaments, and it's Ornament tube instead of Floss-tube. Ornament tube. I just wanted to show you a couple of homemade Christmas ornaments that when I was going through our ornaments getting ready, because we're going to put them on a tree, I realized just how many ornaments we've made or received that are handmade. And I know some people's trees are super curated and picture perfect ornaments that are store-bought and everything. There's nothing wrong with that. I think they're beautiful and I always drool over them. But wow, I'm getting the hiccups. For my own tree, I absolutely love handmade ornaments. They make me so excited because they all have a story and they're all different. So I thought I would show you a couple of them because I think they're fun ideas for ornaments that you can easily make at home, not super expensive, and they make great gifts. So this is a felt ornament. It's just made with those sheets or rolls of felt you can buy at the dollar store or probably your Walmart or local hobby craft store would definitely have it, I would think. And you just cut out like not perfectly rough shapes of whatever. So this is a candy cane, and I very loosely embroidered some stripes on it, and then you put it back on, and because I just stitched the one side, and then you stitch it together and you just stuff it with a little bit of fluff and you have a candy cane. So super simple. Every year when we have a live tree, we cut off a slice off the bottom to get it to the right height, and we will put the year on it. So this was our first Christmas together as a married couple. And then we named the tree because I like to name everything. So our first Christmas tree was named Rupert. I have no idea why. I just looked at it and was like, that's a Rupert. One year the tree was named Mr. Chubbs because it was a really big chubby tree. So that's always fun. My husband I'll draw it on. Usually my husband will wood burn it. So that's a fun idea if you want a new Christmas tradition and if you cut down live trees. These ones are our toboggans or our toques, depending on where you're from. So me being from the South, I grew up calling your winter hat, I grew up calling it a toboggan. And most Canadians I've ever talked to grew up calling it a toque or a winter hat. But most times they call it a toque, which I think is French. And when I first came to Canada, my first winter here, me and a bunch of girls lived together, and we were late to go to dinner, and the chef was very much on a schedule and wanted us there on time. And we were like, oh crap, we're late. And so we're running out the door, and I was like digging through the bin trying to find my toboggan. And the girls were like, we're gonna be late, Sarah, come on. I was like, oh, I just gotta find my toboggan, I'm coming. And they're like, why? We're just going down to the dining hall for dinner. And they're like, you don't need a toboggan just for that. And I was like, well, you all have them on your heads, I just need mine. And I'm still digging, you know. And I realized it got real silent, and somebody kind of laughed. And then I looked up from the bin where I was digging for my toboggan, and they're like, Sarah, what are you talking about? And that's when, you know, we giggled through realizing I call it toboggan, they were calling it a toque. And when I said toboggan, they were imagining a sled on their heads. So yeah, so this is a toilet paper, not toilet paper, paper towel tube. And just, you cut just a little piece of it, like, I don't even think that's an inch, maybe an inch, like 3/4 of an inch. And then you cut long strands of yarn, and you wrap it around and kind of do a slip knot, a bunch of them, and then you tuck them up through and tie them together with a piece of string here. And then you've got a bunch of strands at top, and then you cut it short, and then you start fluffing like you would do for a pom-pom. And so we have 2 of those. The other one's in another box, but so those hang together. So Josh has a toque and I have a toboggan, and they go on our tree. There's lots of crochet ornaments out there. I am not super bougie with my crochet skills. It's pretty limited, but a little cup of cocoa, little marshmallows. It's fun. That's the important thing. I got really ambitious one year, and I was like, I'm gonna crochet popcorn, like strands of popcorn to do the whole tree. I think I made 3, but they're cute. This is a really cool pattern that I will look and see if I can link down below a tutorial to, because I could never explain it to you. But I think they make beautiful ornaments. Absolutely love them in the white rope from the hardware store. This one I like, but not to the same extent, because I love how neat and tidy this one is. And then you just melt, not on the paper, you tie it off, but on the, I think it's paracord. On this cord, you melt it and it fuses together. Super, super cute though. Love this one. I will see if I can find a link to a tutorial to do this, because I think they make, we sent those out that year. I made those. We sent those out with Christmas cards to some family, and they make beautiful gifts. Another really simple idea is go to your dollar store, get jingle bells, put it on ribbon, and you got an ornament. What was my other thing I wanted to show you? What else is in here? Oh, okay. I had 2 more things I wanted to mention. We did these for our wedding. In lieu of like little wedding favors, we chose to do something a little different. So we folded all these origami hearts, and a bunch of the family members at Josh's parents' farm before the wedding, like the week before maybe, after lunch one Sunday, we all sat and made a lot of these. And we had a bunch extra too. So we put string on them after the wedding, and they've been on our tree every year. So there's dozens, maybe 20 of these, I think, that we hang on our tree. But what these were for our wedding, they hold a fun memory. But the reason I wanted to mention them, because with the gift giving season coming up, it's a great opportunity to look into this as an option to give a gift. What we did was, we did in lieu of wedding favors, we did a donation to Samaritan's Purse, which they have different things you can purchase on there and put donations towards. But specifically, they have options to fund children's surgery. And there was an option to fund a child's surgery for a cleft lip palate surgery. And in other countries, a child who was born with any kind of physical difference or deformity oftentimes is ostracized socially. And in some places, they're placed into orphanages because of physical abnormalities or deformities or whatever you want to call them. Beautiful children. All children are beautiful. But something like that in North America maybe it makes their life easier and less bullying, and something like that in other countries can change their entire life. So I say all of that because we did that for our in lieu of a favor at our wedding, and I think it's a really good option for people's Christmas gifts. If you have someone you don't know what to get for them, or they have kind of everything, I think a lot of people would actually be really up for that kind of gift because it can really impact someone's life. So just wanted to share that because it's kind of a unique option that when I see a lot of buy this or make this, like for gift options, that kind of thing is never really mentioned that I've seen. So just wanted to throw that idea out there. But the origami hearts or any kind of cute little origami for your tree would be cute. And then the last one I wanted to show was I make these not every year, but I've made them a couple of times. And it's just like the really old-fashioned traditional orange slices. But what I wanted to show you was you can make your orange slices. This one actually someone else made, but I have a bunch of orange ones. But lime shows up way darker. So they're really fun contrasting if you want to put them in a bowl and put a candle in the middle or something, or if you want to hang them on like bunting or even on your tree. I love the difference in color. So I have several of both because I think they're so cute. And this lady put them on a jam jar and she wrapped the twine around or whatever and put one slice. And then she put this cute little turtle, what's that called? Not gem, but charm on there. And I thought that was so cute. So I thought you could totally just do these as little additions to your tree or with gift tags or whatever. So I thought I would mention just some of my favorite ornaments. And I had one other thing that I found when I was going through my ornaments. Every year when I get the ornaments out, I'm like, ooh, 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 because I like forget for the last 11 months what ornaments we have. And then it's always fun. Excuse me. It's always fun looking through them and remembering. So my friend Darlene, who I've mentioned a million times on here, she cross-stitched this for us 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember, and gave it to us for Christmas. And she had finished it really pretty. And I have no idea what the pattern is, but if you really want the pattern, let me know and I can ask her. But I just thought that was so pretty, so I thought I'd share. So I think that is all that I have for you. I think I managed to do that a little quicker than last time. Because when I filmed it earlier this afternoon, it was like an hour and a half, which would have been my longest floss tube ever. And I'm not sure anyone wants to stay around that long, and I don't blame you. So thanks for sticking with me if you're still here. If you're a new viewer, if you want to hit the subscribe button, that would be great. If you're coming back and watching again, you're a patient soul, and I appreciate you being here. And as always, I would love to hear from you in the comments. I would love to know what you're stitching or how you're doing. Or if you're going to make any of these ornaments or what you're going to make. Don't forget to put the word gingerbread if you would like to be in the giveaway, and I will draw a name on the first so you can get to Christmas stitching. And if you want to purchase any of my patterns, they're in my Etsy shop, which I'll link below in the doodly-doo. And thanks for watching my floss tube. Enjoy your next floss tube. Happy stitching.